We keep playing, believing the next draw could finally be ours. We pick numbers, follow patterns, and trust our instincts. But something is not working, and deep inside, we know it. The reality is that 90% of players are making the exact same mistake again and again. Today, we are going to break that cycle together. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment to invite your luck, because those who watch until the end might unlock an opportunity worth millions. Number 1, you think your numbers are special. Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. How many times have we chosen numbers that actually mean something to us? Birthdays, anniversaries, lucky digits that feel right. It feels personal. It feels intentional. And deep down, we believe that somehow these numbers give us a better chance than random ones. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The lottery does not care about meaning. It does not recognize memories. Every number has the exact same probability, no matter how important it feels to us. And this is where the mistake quietly begins. We are not choosing numbers based on probability. We are choosing based on emotion. And emotion gives us a false sense of control. It makes us feel like we are playing smarter, when in reality, we are just playing more predictably. Think about this. Millions of players are doing the exact same thing right now. Picking birthdays, picking familiar numbers. That means we are not only reducing our uniqueness, but if we ever win, we are more likely to share the prize with others. So let me ask you something. Are we really increasing our chances? Or are we just making ourselves feel better while doing the same thing as everyone else? Because this right here is one of the clearest signs of the mistake that keeps 90% of players exactly where they are. Number 2, you believe a number is due to hit. Have you ever looked at past results and thought this number has not appeared in a long time, so it must be coming soon? It feels logical, almost like the system needs to balance itself out. And in that moment, we feel like we have discovered an edge that others might be missing. But this belief is exactly where many players fall into the trap. Each lottery draw is completely independent. What happened yesterday has no influence on what happens today. A number that has not appeared for months is not any closer to showing up than one that came out last draw. The machine does not remember. The system does not adjust. Yet our brains are wired to see patterns, even when none exist. We want to believe there is order behind the randomness, that if we study long enough, we can predict what comes next. But in a truly random system, patterns are illusions. They are stories we create to feel in control. And this is where the mistake deepens. Instead of accepting randomness, we try to outsmart it. We convince ourselves that we are making calculated decisions, when in reality, we are chasing a false signal. So ask yourself honestly, are we reading the game correctly, or are we just seeing what we want to see? Because the moment we believe a number is due, we step further into the exact mindset that keeps most players from ever winning. Number 3, you keep playing the same way every time. Here is a quick reality check. If we keep doing the same thing again and again, why do we expect a different result? It sounds obvious, but when it comes to the lottery, most of us fall into this pattern without noticing. We buy tickets the same way. We pick numbers the same way. Sometimes we even go to the same place at the same time, almost like a ritual. It feels comfortable, familiar, like we are building consistency. But consistency in a random game does not create advantage. In fact, it can quietly lock us into a loop where nothing changes. We are not improving. We are not adjusting. We are just repeating. And repetition without awareness is not strategy. It is habit. Here is the deeper problem. When something becomes a habit, we stop questioning it. We stop asking if it actually works. We just keep going because it feels normal. And that is exactly how the mistake hides in plain sight. We think we are being disciplined, but in reality, we are just stuck, doing what everyone else does, hoping for a different outcome, without ever stepping back to rethink our approach. So let's ask ourselves one honest question. Are we playing with intention, or are we just running the same script on repeat? Because if nothing changes in how we play, nothing will change in what we get. Number 4, you think more effort means better chances. At some point, many of us start believing that if we just try harder, we will eventually win. We spend more time analyzing results. We look for patterns, trends, even hidden formulas. It feels productive, like we are getting closer to cracking the system. But here's the uncomfortable question. What if all that effort is leading us in the wrong direction? The lottery is not a game that rewards effort in the way we expect. It does not matter how long we study past draws or how detailed our notes are. The outcome does not change because we worked harder. It remains random, no matter how much logic we try to apply. And this is where the illusion becomes dangerous. The more time we invest, the more convinced we become that we are doing something right. Effort creates confidence, even when there is no real advantage. We start to trust our process, not because it works, but because we have invested so much into it. That belief makes it even harder to step back and question what we are doing. So think about this for a moment. Are we actually improving our chances, or are we just increasing our emotional commitment to a system that was never designed to be solved? Because once we confuse effort with control, we fall deeper into the same mistake that keeps most players chasing a win that never comes. Number 5, you underestimate how random it really is. Let's flip the way we usually think about this. Instead of asking how to win, ask this: do we truly understand what we are playing against? Most of us say we do. We know it is random. We know the odds are low. But knowing something and actually feeling its impact are two very different things. Because if we truly understood how extreme the randomness is, we would not act the way we do. We would not feel confident about a set of numbers. We would not believe in streaks or patterns. We would not think that changing small details will suddenly shift the outcome in our favor. Yet we do all of that. That means, at some level, we are still treating the lottery like something that can be influenced, like something that can be slightly tilted if we make the right move. But randomness at this level does not behave that way. It does not reward intuition. It does not respond to adjustments. It does not care about timing, feeling, or strategy. It simply produces outcomes with no memory and no preference. And this is where the mistake becomes almost invisible. We think we understand the game, but we are still playing it as if it can be controlled. So here's the real question. Are we respecting the randomness, or are we quietly ignoring it because the truth is uncomfortable? Because the moment we underestimate it, we step right back into the same cycle that keeps 90% of players from ever breaking through. Number 6, you feel like you're getting closer to winning. Let's talk about that feeling we all know too well. You check your ticket and see that you matched a few numbers, not all of them, but close enough to make your heart jump for a second. And in that moment, a thought appears. We are getting closer. It feels encouraging, almost like progress. But here's the truth that most players never stop to question. In a lottery, there is no such thing as getting closer. You either hit the exact combination, or you do not. Matching a few numbers does not increase your chances in the next draw. It does not mean you are improving. It is just another random outcome. So why does it feel like progress? Because our brain is wired to reward near success. It treats almost winning as a signal to keep going. That small win creates excitement, and that excitement keeps us playing. And this is where the trap tightens. We begin to believe that we are on the edge of a breakthrough, that if we just keep going, our moment will come soon. But in reality, nothing has changed. The odds remain exactly the same as before. So ask yourself this honestly: are we actually moving forward, or are we just reacting to a feeling that was designed to keep us in the game? Because once we start believing we are getting closer, we stop questioning the system. And that belief quietly feeds the same mistake that keeps most players chasing a win that never arrives. Number 7, you play out of habit, not awareness. Let's look at something most of us never question. Why do we buy a ticket at the exact moment we do? For many of us, it is automatic. On the way home, during a break, at a familiar spot we have visited many times before. It becomes part of a routine, something we do without thinking too much about it. And that is exactly the issue. When something turns into a habit, we stop being fully present. We are no longer making a conscious decision. We are simply following a pattern we have repeated so many times that it feels normal. But normal does not mean effective. In fact, habits can hide mistakes better than anything else. Because when we are on autopilot, we rarely stop to ask if what we are doing still makes sense. We do not evaluate, we do not adjust, we just continue. That is where this mistake gains its strength. It blends into our routine so smoothly that we never notice it. We think we are just playing casually, but in reality, we are reinforcing the same behavior over and over again without ever questioning it. So take a moment and think. The next time we buy a ticket, are we actually making a choice? Or are we just following a script we have already memorized? Because the moment we stop being aware is the moment we stop having any real control over how we play. Number 8, you believe you're smarter than most players. Here is a thought that quietly sits in the back of many players' minds. We are not like everyone else. We believe we think more carefully. We choose better. We avoid obvious mistakes that others make. It feels subtle, but it is powerful. Because the moment we see ourselves as different from the crowd, we stop checking whether we are actually doing the same things as them. Look closely at the behaviors. We pick familiar numbers. We trust patterns. We adjust based on feelings. We react to recent results. These are not unique strategies. These are exactly what millions of other players are doing at the same time. Yet it still feels like our approach is somehow smarter. That is the illusion. Confidence without evidence creates blind spots. It makes us less likely to question our decisions, less likely to step back and rethink our actions. We assume we are outside the group while quietly operating inside it, and this is where the mistake reaches its final form. Not only are we making the same choices as most players, we are convinced that we are not. That belief keeps us locked in place because we never feel the need to change. So ask yourself honestly, are we truly different, or are we just telling ourselves that story to feel more in control? Because if we cannot see that we are part of the 90%, we will never understand why we keep getting the same result. Number 9, you don't truly understand the odds you're facing. Let's pause and look at this from a different angle. Not what we feel, not what we believe, just the numbers. Most of us know the odds are low. We have heard it many times. But if we are being honest, we have never really felt how extreme those odds actually are. Because if we did, we would approach the game very differently. Winning the lottery is not just unlikely, it is astronomically rare. The chances are so small that our brain struggles to process them, so instead, we simplify. We treat it like a long shot, but still something within reach if we just keep trying. And that is where perception breaks away from reality. We start making decisions as if the odds are slightly against us, when in truth, they are overwhelmingly against us. That gap between perception and reality is where the mistake quietly lives. It allows us to keep playing with confidence that is not grounded in facts. Think about it this way. If we fully understood the scale of the odds, would we still trust our numbers? Would we still believe in patterns? Would we still feel like we are close? Or would we finally see the game for what it really is? Because until we truly grasp the odds, we will keep making decisions that feel right, but lead to the exact same outcome as everyone else. So in the end, everything we covered comes down to one truth. Most of us keep losing not because of bad luck, but because we are trying to control a game that is purely random. Once we see this clearly, we begin to think differently, and that is where real change starts. If this opened your eyes, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your experience and what you realized today. And remember, no matter where you are right now, keep your faith strong and your heart hopeful. Trust that God has a plan for your life, and your breakthrough will come at the right time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.